Guys, welcome back to the Dice Matrix. I'm ET, and today we're going to be reviewing Hero Realms by White Wizard Games. The first thing you're going to do is shuffle up the market deck really well, and then you're going to lay out 5 market cards, and then you're going to take the group of pile of cards here that they have for the fire gems and put them over here as an option to buy if you can't afford any of these and this is available to you, or maybe you just want that instead if there's nothing you like in the main market. Now, each player is going to have the same amount of type of cards here. They're going to have 7 of these cards that are gold, which will be 1 coin when you play them. They're going to have a ruby, which is 2 gold. They're going to have 2 combat cards, a dagger and a short sword, and they are 1 and 2 combat cards respectively. And each player is going to shuffle these up. You determine who's going to go first, and the first player only draws 3, and the other players will draw 5. So let's just say we've been playing, I don't know, okay, well, we can start off anyway. We'll just take 3. So what you're going to do is, if you're the first player, you're going to look at your cards, and there's nothing to pay to put these in play because this is a deck building game, so you're just going to pretty much play them out. So I have 2 gold and 1 combat, and they go to my pool. So, excuse me. So basically, I have 2 money to spend, and I've got 1 in my combat pool. And I can go, hey, I'm going to do a 1 to this guy over here, one of the players. And so they lose 1 life, which we keep on these nice fancy little things that they give you to keep track of your life. So like if I think you start off like at 50, and then when you move down to 49, you would move it like this. 49, 48, 47, and if you gain life, excuse me, that's the 80 plus side. So because this goes up to 70, and if you go to 80, you will say I've got, 89, 87. Oh, you want to add 30 to it? I'm at 138, So anyway, you keep your life there. So he would move us down to 49 life. And now he has 2 money he can spend, so he can buy any one of these. So let's say he decides, oh, I'll buy this recruit card here. Well, that's really good. So when you do, you purchase this, you take it and put it in your purchase pile. If you have any money left over, you do the same thing, and then you put it to the side, and that it's in your discard pile. And then you'll draw 5 cards, and so he'll draw 5 cards, and then when it comes back around to his next turn, let's just say some stuff happened and the other players bought their cards. It's back to your turn. You look at your money. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you don't have to play all your cards, but 99% of the time it makes sense to play them all. So okay, so what did I say? I have 6 money here, so I can buy a couple things like, okay, well, I'll buy this influence for 2. I have 4 left over. You immediately replenish. Ooh, 5. I wish I would have seen that ahead of time. I'm going to pick up a bribe, and I don't have anything for 1, but maybe something will be revealed for 1. It is not, so I have no more money left to spend. So the acquired cards that I purchased and everything else goes into my discard pile. Then I draw 5 new cards. I only have 2 left in my draw pile. I draw them, and then what you do is you take all the cards you have just used, your starting cards and the new cards you acquired, and you shuffle them up. And then you deal yourself whatever the remainder of cards you're owed, which is 3. Let's just take a look at it. Let's say, it went around a couple of times again. Okay, I did get one of my new cards, so now I have something else to do here. So this card is called Influence, and when I play it, there's a primary ability on these cards, and there's what they call a secondary ability. And sometimes it's an ally ability, which I'll show you on a different card. So on this card, I play it. You will immediately gain 3 coins to your coin pool and play it out. So let's say I play that 3, 4. I got some combat there. So I've got a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 money this turn. So I play that all out. And I've got 2 combat, so I can deal 2 combat to a player. Okay, so I also have the option, and that's still on my pool, and I can do this pretty much anytime during my main phase, which is what we're doing now. And I can actually trash this card out of my deck into a discard pile, and I can add that amount of combat, 3 combat, to my pool to end a turn. So if I had 3 plus a 2, it's 5. I mean, you don't discard that one. And then I still have the money to purchase things. Now, let's talk about some other cards real quick. And that just circles around and around until basically everybody's dead. And in this game, you'll have some cards that are what they call champions. If you have a card like this in play, if you notice in the bottom right here, that's how much damage, like this, these cards don't go into your deck. When you purchase them, they go to your discard pile. But when you finally play them, they stay in play. And what happens is this has an expendability on your turn, if it's alive, obviously if it starts on your turn, then you can expend it, okay? And you can deal the action here. And it might have also a secondary. The primary ability is adding 4 combat to your combat pool. But if people are tired of seeing this, they can try to stun it, or like I like temporary kill it in the game. So you have to deal 6 combat damage to this. And there are some like this card here. This one's only a 4. Now, let's say you just wanted to deal your damage directly to me and I had this in play. Well, you can bypass it because this is a regular champion and not a guard like this guy. If this guy's a guard and he's prepared, which is in old school speak, straight up, right and down, untapped, if you will, you have to kill this before you can even target any other non-guard character. So you'll have to deal 6 damage to this before you can, let's say you had 7 damage in your combat pool. Well, you can deal 6 to this and get rid of it. And then there's not enough to kill this guy, but he's not a guard, and I don't have any guards that are in the upright position left. Well, you can just deal that damage directly to me. So that's pretty much how that works. Now, some of these abilities like this have a little extra flair on them, so it'll tell you that you gain 2 combat when you expend this, and you get +1 combat for every other wild card you have in play. Now, there are 4 basic allies out there. There's the Wild faction. There's also, we have the Necro faction, which are the little red evil-looking symbol there. We have the Guild, which is the blue symbols, and we have the Imperial, which has this little star symbol. And what happens is that they can trigger different things. This one's a nice one. It has 3 abilities. When you play this, you do everything, including abilities like draw a card. That's your primary ability. But if it had another, let me find a really good card here that has, okay, so like here's one here. So let's say you play this card out of your hand. It could be first or second, but if you eventually get another card into play with the same symbol on it, and this is nice because this stays in turn until people decide to kill it. Every turn you can tap this or expend it to gain 2 health. That's the gain health symbol, and you draw a card. Now, if you ever have this into play, at least one of these guys, this will trigger, and you'll gain 2 life for each champion you have in play. Now remember, even if they're guards or not guards, anything that has a shield symbol is a champion that stays in play. So you're automatically going to gain 2 life just because he's in play, but if you had more, it'll be 2 for each one. So that's how the triggered abilities pretty much work on that. And like I said, you just keep going back and forth, playing these cards, gaining more cards, buying new things until you have enough combat and you kill off your opponent. So that's the basics on how to play the game. It's a deck builder. It's real smooth, real easy to play, fun to get into. I believe it plays 2 to 4. They have made several expansions where you can play hero packs now, so you can start off as a class, as a thief, a warrior, a wizard, and I'm trying to remember the last one, I think a cleric. And that's the basic ones. I'm sure they'll expand that more. They even have a bigger adventure game built into it where you're fighting monsters as you go, called the Runes of Thandor, I believe. But anyway, I'm going to have to say that the ease of play, the fantasy element of looking at the great artworks on the cards, just so easy to get into, so easy to teach. If you want that nice light game that has enough competitive edge to it, but yet at the same time it's just fun and easy, this is the game for you. I highly recommend Hero Realms, and I have to say I give it a solid, upper scale, 7.5. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get to the table. It's a small, beautiful, compact box. I wish more people, it has a little divider in the middle so the stacks sit easy on each side. I can't say probably much more good about it except for you should try it if you never have. I hope this game's for you because it was for me. Thank you so much for watching the Dice Matrix. Until next time, keep the dice rolling.